Hungar is very direct. It's all about the nuance of fighting and direct and power generation. They say in Hungar, one movement, one breath, one movement, one strike, and it's very physical. The style it focuses on conditioning the forearms, the shins, sitting in horse stances for long times. Our forms are like 5 times longer than anyone else's forms, just because. So our shortest form is like 2 minutes, and I know we were talking earlier how some styles have like 30-second forms, and the directness of the style seems to like carry over to the Sifus. Like the modern Hungar is Wang Fei Hungar. That's how we define it. He changed the system. He's like the modern founder. So there's village Hungar, which is the same thing as saying pre-Wang Fei Hungar. So it changes by the region in Guangdong and Guangzhou and Guangxi. And then there's Wang Fei Hungar, and that's typically he only taught like 10 to 12 people, which most people thought he taught more, but he really didn't. And the two most famous teachers under him are Lam Sai Wing, who is our patriarch, and he died in 1942 or 1943, depending on who you ask, and Dong Feng. So
Lam Sai Wing's the guy in the black and white photos.
Yeah, the black and white photos. He's a very big guy. Wang Fei Hung, 6 feet tall, huge for a Chinese person back then. So was Lam Sai Wing. Still pretty big,
gigantic.
Yeah, back then most Chinese people were like 5'4".
We're still about 5'4".
Yeah, and so Lam Sai Wing, which is most people you could recognize through this, is a Lam family. Tiger crane symbol. He's the patriarch of Lam family. And that's our lineage. And then there's Dongfang, the most famous people in the Dongfang lineage. It splits up to a couple of different guys, but there's a Holap Tinyin lineage, Chow Wing Tak lineage, and Yang Ling, I think his name was. And the most famous practitioner around the world of Dongfang is probably Frankie in New York City. He's got schools all along the East Coast, in Scotland, and South America, and then one in China. And the most famous Lam family practitioner, there's a couple. My Sifu is one of the most famous ones, and then there's also Lam Chin Fai, who's our lineage holder, and YC Wong in San Francisco. Everyone knows who he is.
Yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah.
I love that guy. Everybody loves YC Wong.
Yeah, and so our characteristics are kind of changed. So Lam family, our Grandmaster Lam Zhou, who was the nephew of Lam Sai Wing, he made the style lower and smoother. And so Lam Sai Wing taught like 12, 13 sets. Lam Zhou added about 20 other sets, and that was 33 in the system.
Did he do another style previously, and that's why he did that?
No, he was really good friends with Kanta Koi, who is Chan Sao Chung, so Monkey Kung Fu.
Oh,
Sifu.
yeah.
He's good friends with Chan Sao Chung Sifu, Kanta Koi, and he was also good friends with, I believe, Chu Chi Man, who is a very famous 7-star mantis Sifu. So he integrated some of their stuff. One of the most famous. One of the most famous, yes.
Like him and Lo Guan Yu, or like.
That's it, yeah. And so Lam Zhou integrated that. So our style is very smooth and low. And if you look at Dongfang lineage, because of the size difference, Dongfang was a skinny, shorter guy. Their style is a little more hard and focused, compact. And you also,
smaller,
and you can notice the change because in Hong Kong, because there's no room to practice, everyone fights a lot tighter. All Hungar people in Hong Kong are tighter styles, tighter just in terms of range. But if you look at mainland China or Taiwan or Malaysia, they're a little bit more open. Sifu always told me that this is per style, by the way, so you have two, because you have two different styles, but whoever is your Sifu originally is your Sifu for life. So Bok Sem Kong, I'll call him Sifu. He's kind of relaxed over the years. I think because as he's gotten older, he's a little more chill. Before he's very adamant, very military-like because he was a hand-to-hand combat instructor.
He's literally in the military.
Yeah. But so some senior students will even call him Buck, and he's fine with that. But as modern times have changed, Sifu used to be. So there's two parts of this. Sifu used to be someone who was like your father, a second father, which literally means father in Cantonese, or
Shifu, respected father.
Yeah.
Si or shi is respect. Father.
Yes. So the role, and I take this role like this, is when someone's with me even for a year, no matter what they need, I'm always going to be there. However, as times change and people go to commercial schools, there's not that tie to it anymore, really. So unless someone's trained in that way, where they're like, oh, my student's, homeless, he can stay at my house right now, I'm gonna raise him up again, or he needs help, he needs some money, or I need help, I need money, and you have that type of closeness, I believe that's more appropriate to be a Sifu. Nowadays, with that tie has been kind of lost in modern times, people use the term coach.
Yeah.
When you go to wrestling, I do wrestling on Sundays after I teach Kung Fu and practice. We call the coaches coach. There's no Sifu, there's no master.
Instructor.
And there's instructor. Yeah, you get instructor because they don't have that tie to it. So I believe Sifu has a deep meaning, and it's respected. And so when appropriate, it's good to use it. I know, I'd say 27 or 28 of the 33 sets, and I'm trying to pick up the rest through Don and Don Hamby and Mike Goodwin, because they're my close friends. But to be a Sifu in our system is to propagate the art. Typically in Hung Gar, because changed by lineage 2, there's only 4 required sets that are considered the core of the system. There's the 3 treasures, which modernly is called the 4 pillars. It's Gonjik Fufu Kien, Taming the Tiger and Eye pattern set. Fuhok Singing Kien, which is Tiger and Crane double shadow set or double pattern set.
Typical name.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Titsin Kien, which is our treasure. It's iron wire. And then depending on your lineage, you teach Ing Kien, which is like Is Hunga under Frankie, who does that. Or Sakin Kien, which is all lamb family people. That's the set. Sapin Kien means 10 form fist. Ing Kien means 5 shape fist. The full actual name of Sapin Kien is Ing Han Kien, which is 5 animal, 5 shape fist. So those 3 hand sets, Gonji, Fuhawk, and Titsin, are the 3 core. They call them 3 jewels. And the most important weapons that we have is Umla Bakwagon, which the full name is Yonga Umla Bakwagon, which means Yang family 5th brother 8 trigram pole set, because it came from the Yang family 5th brother.
Right. Yeah.
And the 8 trigram. Yeah, 8 trigram comes from the I Ching with the Bagua. The shape, the changes in nature.
8 directions.
Yeah. So when I teach, that's how I look at it. Is this the core of the system? So everything was built around it. So I believe nowadays, because our emphasis changes, we have to make ourselves familiar with other styles that are currently popular: MMA, boxing, wrestling, BJJ, Muay Thai, so that we could see how our styles change. Because like Hung Gar is a complete system. It has, how do you define a complete system? Striking, wrestling, and Komna or China, which is joint locks. That's typically what they say, how you define a complete system in Chinese martial arts, and weapons. Yeah. But it changes.
And internal, you guys.
Yeah, internal and external. Yeah. So it changes. Our current but our current modern adaptation is seeing these styles and understanding how we fit and how we have our own answer to that, which takes its own time and development. And in 20 years, some other martial art will be popular. So there's multiple styles of village Hung Gar, because it's like village Hung Gar is pretty Wong Fei Hung. The emphasis is just short bridge, short power generation. Hung Gar, modern Hung Gar is short, middle, and long range. Village Hung Gar is a lot tighter. It's really more close to like what San Bak Mei in that respect. And the 2 sets you probably saw us doing was Night Tiger exits the cave and Night Tiger exits the forest, and Fierce Tiger exits the forest.
Yeah.
I picked it up from Don. He showed it to me, and we practiced it to focus on our...
Where he learned it?
He learned it from Hong Kong. It is... he likes it because, and I like it too, for the short range techniques and the emphasis. Wong Lei was actually a master of this village style, and he came to Hong Kong because he was to my knowledge, like I said, could be wrong. He came because he needed weapons. All he had was that was his emphasis in training, and he actually went to Hong Kong to look for Lam Sai Wing because Lam Sai Wing was back in his day, very, very, even now, very famous. And so he knew he was in Hong Kong, and he's like, I'm gonna go try and learn from this guy. Once he got there, Lam Sai Wing said he was retired, but he said, here's my nephew, he's very good, learn from him. So he started learning from Lam Zhou. To my knowledge, again, I could be wrong on this story. And it was kept just in that lineage, Wang Lei's lineage, just the shorthand, and then also Wang Lei's classmates in mainland China. So it's really, really rare. We don't show it to anyone. We just practice amongst ourselves.
I had never seen that. I was like,
in the U.S., there's probably like Rosa, Don, Fred, myself, and maybe like 3 others. There's probably like 7 people in the U.S. who know it.